Maybe because it's a new channel. Like we've had the Wolf Creek channel, it's been up for a while. I'll turn the volume down on this.
Yeah, we can actually mute that. And
fucking flies.
And then the 20-second delay.
How do you refresh? It's not doing anything.
It's not doing it?
No.
Oh, weird. It's not doing anything. Oh, because I got 500 million things open. Oh, it's not doing anything. Oh, there we go. No? What the hell?
This is why we're not using the PC.
So if anybody's watching right now, we're live.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's see if we can get this going here. This should refresh now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, I got all these.
We got set up.
We got everybody here.
Look at that.
If I can just get this.
Can you just
Got a
force click?
shameless promotion behind me too.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
I need you to step in over here on my laptop.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey, Shelly.
All right.
Hey.
Hey, Shelly. Right on. So let's see if I can get this gallery view going.
Hey, everyone.
Here. Good morning. Oh,
Hi,
it's the beard.
Shane.
I'm all.
Hey, Shelly.
Good morning. We're here at Historic Wolf Creek Inn. We're Jefferson State Paranormal.
Hey.
We want to thank Andrew for allowing us to do this today. With social distancing and the pandemic going on, this is the way we got to do it. Thank you all for joining us today. Man, coffee and some Bigfoot.
Mhm. Yep.
Yummy.
Wait, water.
I don't have my drink yet. I already had a pot of coffee, so.
I'm still working on my pot. Hold on just a second.
So this kicks off at 9:30.
9:30. Supposed to be 9-ish.
Nine-ish comfortably. We were having some technical difficulties this morning, swapping laptops and stuff like that. You know, we did a trial run last night and it went real well, but then, you know, we slept on it and
Look at you, Shane, all set up like you're a professional or something.
right.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll be somewhere else later. So this is just a quick setup.
Oh.
Nice. Wow. Impressive.
Somewhere out there.
In the great land of Bigfoot.
Yep.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a live viewing at
We are actually live right now, and I'm trying to get this one over here to work my laptop to pull up the feed so I can make sure that it's actually going. There, last night we were having a 20-second delay on the video. We'll see what you want to close out of that. You want to get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there. If you can refresh that page. I don't know why. Technical difficulties.
well,
Uh-oh.
I have my son here. He's my assistant in case I get Stuck. Sort of.
Hey, I need one of
Get
those.
lost. Let's see here. I was in the middle of making sure that you all can do file shares while we're doing this. And I think I've got everything all set up to where there should be no interruptions from everybody or anybody in the middle of this. When you guys are and stuff and doing your spiel, I'm going to direct everybody to the chat room side of this presentation, and then I'll make sure that everybody else is muted and
Yeah.
stuff. So then,
I didn't know there, where will I find chat room? Well, I'm not really worried about it.
if you go down to right next to the share screen on your tab bar there on Zoom, there's the left-hand side, there's a little bubble that says chat. You click on that and it'll open up the chat window on the other side.
Oh, mine says more. Okay, I got it. Okay.
And then I'm going to type in.
So I learned that my phone that I'm doing my presentation on is hooked up to my, it Bluetooths into my iPad. So I had to turn off notifications on both because I had notifications off on one and the other was like, oh, well, you can use your iPad as a phone. So if you're not getting your notifications on your phone, you can get them on your iPad. And that's what happened to me last night. So learning stuff all the time.
Right. So scroll down this page here. We're getting this together. I got this fly. And it's like bugging the hell out of me. There should be a window tab.
Oh, there you go, Shane.
Okay, I'm
It's
just
out.
double checking.
Looks good.
Everything else wasn't
Oh,
responsive.
nice. There you go. Perfect.
Are you gonna do Shane, are you gonna do just a slideshow so they only see one screen, or you gonna have all your screens to the side so we can pre-read?
Let me see.
I think you can go up to slideshow and then start from beginning.
Yeah, and then you can share audio as well. Let me see.
There you go, you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and then share computer sound. Let me see if I can.
We have Jason Wells. Good morning, Jason.
Yay, Jason.
Good morning.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Here, let's try a grouse.
Bigfoot.com.
Yep, it's coming through.
Cool.
Mhm.
All right. Perfect.
Yay.
I have a question. Do we need to set these up like right now, or do I set everything up as I come in for my
Kind of like how we did it last night and stuff,
Okay.
where you brought your stuff in, and yeah, this is what we're looking for right here, because we're streaming live. Oh, that's not what I want.
There's Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hey, you guys can't hear me, can you?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Yep.
Why is this doing this?
Well, I have it on gallery mode now. I can see everybody. This has been a big learning process, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a little bit of experience with my kiddo transferring from real school to the virtual schools thing and stuff. So she did
Right.
a bit of a walkthrough on this and stuff, which made it a little easier. But yeah, really all the help in the world from YouTube and tutorials from Zoom itself and stuff. Like,
Love YouTube.
I'm still trying to figure it all out. Like I have to transfer files from this to that,
Yeah.
and then do all this stuff. I'm not sure why I'm not picking up what's going
So,
on.
I just had someone text me and they're trying to get on and they said that there's says no apps available. How would they join in the group to listen?
Oh man.
Do you
Oh,
have
that's
to
a
post a join code?
Oh, yes. Let me find that. Let me find
Yeah, they
that.
just want to know where to go to find the code.
Oh, where did it go? Oh man. All right. Now I'm fumbling.
That's okay.
Hold on, guys.
Is it the code that we're using right now?
Yes.
I can give it to you. I have it written down right now.
Okay, I can,
If you can
I'll
put
forward
it,
it to her.
there you go. If we can, oh man, I need to be able to put this. Or,
You
Publicly
need
so
a
people
picture,
can.
Cindy? Is that what you said? Hold on. I can tell you, Cindy, or do you want a picture of it or what? There should be a link
Right,
in the email. There's a link and you could forward that link. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I'm working on it right now. Yeah, so, I mean, we want to make sure that the public can find the link. Maybe after I speak. I'm joking.
stop it.
well, maybe this works. So the meeting
Oh, it's
path
backwards.
is, so this is,
we could
this
see
is-
it from our screen, Shelley.
Huh?
When you held it up, we saw it correctly.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Sorry, my handwriting's like scribble, chicken scratch. You take a picture of it. I can write it better too if I need to. So another thing, is this going to be recorded for future?
I'm streaming live on YouTube right now, so we'll all be able to watch this.
Later?
Yeah, and share and everything like that. I'm trying to get one of these devices here to actually pull that up for me, so I can actually see what's going on.
No, my screen seems like I'm lagging. Am I lagging when y'all see me?
Just a little bit. Yes, just a little bit.
Maybe it's, let me switch back to my regular camera. Is it now still lagging? Well, that's not, I guess it's not that important because my presentation's on my iPhone, so it should be okay.
Right. So I do believe that if
I don't know where to find it. That's on YouTube.
no, we don't want to be on YouTube, Lisa. Sorry. You
This one meetings always go. My son's in college and so he got thrown into this also and he says it gets confusing.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Good thing it's early in the morning, right? We're all
Right?
going to wake up and
Well, early on in the morning on the west side.
right? Yeah, you guys are all like 2-3 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm 2 hours ahead. It's 11:30 here.
Gotcha.
I've been up since 6:30, so it's time for lunch.
Man, so
There's no link on there.
Oh, Cindy, I should have put my banner behind me. This is my house is old, so the lighting sucks. So this is the only room that had any kind of lighting that I could use.
You have time to go get it, Shelley.
I will. I'll get it out of my truck and put it on the wall, or I'll try.
Cool.
Do you guys mind if I test something out really quick?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do it. Just kidding.
Oh boy,
Ah,
I had another one I was gonna, okay, let's see.
right. There we go.
Let me know if there's a sound on this. Do you have sound?
No,
No sound.
Nope. Nope.
Jordan, can you help me with the sound? Can you hear me talk?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta share audio through your computer.
Yeah, you know what, I did that, oh, you know what, when I joined the meeting, I had it set up, but then when I joined the new meeting, it didn't pick that up. Okay, I'm gonna start again.
That live here decided
Yeah. Now we hear it.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, cool. All right, that's what I was worried about, so I think I'm just gonna play videos the whole time. No, I'm joking. Just a couple quick little videos, and then you're gonna have to listen to all my college notes.
No, that's fun.
All right.
I think
I'm gonna
it's gonna be great.
ask one of you guys to check this link real quick that I just put in the chat and on one of your devices to see if we're actually streaming live on YouTube. This is the link that is giving me right now for my live feed. And for some reason, I am not. Oh,
There we go.
it's there. There it is. Okay, yeah, we're streaming live.
Okay, cool.
So
How do they find it on YouTube? What do they type
if
in?
anybody's watching, so this I put the YouTube code over here in the chat window,
Oh, okay.
and I just clicked on it and it brought it up. So yeah, mind you, if whoever's watching it has got like a 20-second delay. Yeah, we're live. So good morning.
Wonder if
Good
I should do
morning.
that. Good morning.
I'm getting it all figured out. I'm using Andrew's MacBook, and I'm not used to this Apple stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a PC guy.
I like PC too.
It's so much-
I like Mac, but I'm just not a technology person in general. I'm just not good at it.
I do PCs, but I'm trying out this Chromebook.
I think
Oh,
There's
yeah.
Jason.
Chromebooks are pretty nice.
I'll be right back.
All right. So I do believe we're going to have a meeting or sometime today. We might have a visit from Bigfoot or maybe one of the family members. I don't know. I was told that he was in the area. Just
Better have my camera ready.
Right?
get the cameras out.
Get the flare out to make sure that it's a living entity and not a suit. Right?
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you what, nowadays the new thermal imaging is so good that you can look at tracks, actual, like impressions where someone has walked through anything and they'll stay there for hours and you can't even see the impressions with the naked eye. That's how good thermal imaging is becoming. It's starting to be where they're using it to check blood flow in people and be able to find hot spots with cancer and things like that. So
Huh.
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. I got a new FLIR for my ghost hunting stuff that I haven't really played with too much. It's amazing. The resolution on it is spectacular.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be really cool. I was also gonna say, play with it with mirrors too, because it will give you even a better resolution when you hit the mirror. Like I was flaring out of my truck and hit the mirror, and it was like even better.
Interesting.
There's a trick now. You could do, so if you took like a glass bowl, because thermal imaging will not go through glass. But let's say you take a glass bowl and mount it up above your tent and then point your FLIR underneath the bowl like this. So say you're out doing your ghost hunting stuff and you mounted that FLIR at the bottom of the bowl in the middle of a room, you'll get a 360 image of the room.
Wow.
So there's a lot of cool stuff. You've just got to play with it. But I've never tried that trick, but I have a friend who had told me about it years ago, and I thought, well, if you only have one FLIR, but you want to hold your, you don't want to look at your perimeter, that's the way I would do it. I'm just needing a new FLIR. It's just crap at this point. It's just, they degrade. And
Yeah.
so, but I would, that would be kind of cool for your ghost hunting stuff.
I am going to go try that today.
Oh, all
Look at that.
right.
Nice, Jason. It sounds like Shane's done it before, knows about it too. I saw him
Well,
shake his head.
Shelly and I had talked about this. I think it was William, right? Was it William?
Yeah. Bill, the Dragonus.
I know. For goodness.
I always mess up his name, and I shouldn't, because like my whole life is centered around that man and my Bigfooting stuff. But he had taught me that, oh my gosh, I want to say 5 years ago. And because he was a surveillance expert. He worked, for the CIA and the FBI building surveillance equipment. And he was a certified FLIR thermal imaging expert. And what a loss when he died. A great man. Taught me a whole lot of cool stuff. So, but that's cool. I'm excited to see what happens as far as with you trying that out today. My thing is, I'm assuming you would have to lower and find the right height so that the image on the curvature catches it correctly. It doesn't distort it too much.
Right.
Kind of like a parabolic, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fisheye, but
Right.
but especially if the image is coming in to your camp and you have one thermal imager, that's the way I would try. And ghost hunting too, that would be really cool. But sorry, I get talking too much.
Yeah, it might be a little difficult. I have a Scout, so putting that Scout up,
That's what I have too.
it's gonna be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like this,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
probably get a big head and maybe a little periphery on the side. But we'll see.
Right.
Oh, okay. So I figured out our chat thing for Q&As, and hopefully people will chime in on this one as they're watching. If they're watching from YouTube with the link that I'm gonna have Andrew put on the web page, this whole thing, I have a live chat window on YouTube, so we can have questions come in there. We have anybody else that joins us in here, we can have questions and stuff like that. It's pretty quiet out here in Wolf Creek because of the pandemic. So we're not expecting a whole bunch of people to show up here today, but there might be a pretty good turnout. Hopefully I can keep the social distancing part down so I don't have to put on a mask. It's hard to it's hard to cover the beard.
Yeah, I bet.
So you say they're coming out to Wolf Creek? I mean, do you guys have vendors, or how are you doing that at your
No
location?
vendors. We actually encourage people not to show up. out here just because it's hard to keep a 6 foot distance out here. Cindy, you were out here last year, and it's pretty tight
Right.
out
Next
there.
to So,
and-
are you having a screen, big screen for people to view if they want?
I do have us on the big screen right now on the live stream from YouTube here, and if somebody comes in, then I've got chairs set up
Oh,
strategically
that's cool.
around me, so
Nice.
I can actually turn this to this spot over here. You still see me, but then over here is another chair.
Right.
That's 6-7 feet away from me that can sit down and maybe ask questions if they're, not
Right. Awesome.
There's even a raise your hands.
and that
Mhm.
maybe a little bit of a turnout just because of the kitchen downstairs. They could always use the extra help and wonderful food down there. I've been down here for the last couple of weeks, cooking with these guys and helping out with the smoker and stuff. So the meat's looking amazing. I pulled some brisket yesterday off the smoker yesterday afternoon. That was
Oh, wow.
amazing.
Sounds good.
Yeah, social distancing to me.
But yeah, so
means
with the
eat
social
more
distancing
food.
and pandemic, I call it the Rona. Yeah. Hopefully we can keep it to a minimum here, and if not, then we'll mask up and keep people away. I'll crack a whip.
Nice.
What crazy times we live in right now. It's crazy.
Very much so.
Mhm. It's
Jason, I'm looking at your photo here. You're muted, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of old school skateboard decks in the background on the wall. I used to skateboard back in the day.
Yeah.
those look like my era.
Most of them have some sort of sentimental value, as I've either ridden them or wanted to ride them.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember those days. I remember those days.
Jason, is Bella with you?
She's in my bedroom right now.
Nice.
Can you hear her?
So, no, huh? But I like to apologize beforehand that my dogs might bark. So,
Yeah, Bella might come in and crawl on me and try to get me to get her some chocolate milk.
there you go.
oh well, that's okay. I want a new dog eventually. I'm without pets. I've not ever been without a pet in, I don't know, my whole adulthood. And
Yeah.
both my dogs passed this year. As I was researching, never fails. But if I'm gonna get a Dutch
I'm sorry to
Shepherd.
hear that. Sorry for your loss, Shelly.
Thanks. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, just to make a joke.
Is it me that's breaking up?
No, it's me. But if I get a new dog, I want a Dutch Shepherd, and I've decided on a name already. I'm gonna name my dog Dogman. Because that's the only Dogman there really is in my world.
I love
gonna
it.
be my dog.
That's
Well, we
fun.
used to call our other dog Man Dog, so I
Man,
figured, yeah, well, he was the man dog, we had the girl dog and the man dog, and he was a little dog, but he thought he was a big man dog. So we called him Man Dog, and he was pretty cool. But yeah, I figure when I get my new shepherd, which will be after I move, I'm gonna name him Dog Man.
I love it. Yeah.
that's
I think it'll be appropriate. Excuse me for a moment. I'm gonna go out and look for my assignments.
no worries. What time is it right now? We have 9:42. I'm gonna take a look at my schedule here. We might all be able to take a little break. Yeah,
Yeah,
Cindy's
15 minutes.
not up until 10:30. So, yeah, if anybody wants to talk Bigfoot, talk any new equipment that you're using.
I guess I should probably be charging my unit.
Yeah, we're working on it. Let's see here. Maybe I can.
I got an interesting lead from now. You're Andrew. You're out at just off of I-5, right?
Yeah, we're exit 76.
Yeah, I stayed at that janky campground there once.
Right here, right around the corner here.
Yeah, that was we were the only ones there, and then some creepy van pulled in, and that was about it. But
oh man.
So up the way.
Me and my wife do tours out here. We do paranormal tours here and stuff. And some of the, what am I doing here? Some of the stuff that we've captured here is pretty crazy, but yeah, the local life. It's crazier sometimes.
Well, since you're just up the way from, or down the way from Cottage Grove, I suppose, I've got we all have heard about the London Trackway and how it was so exciting for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then decided it was not legitimate.
Yes.
But a friend of a friend apparently lives over there and sees tracks in the Cottage Grove lake area, like right along the shore, very similar to what sounds like the London Trackway at the same place. And I'm really hoping to get in touch with the people who see them and have them show me where it is, because either the hoaxer is still out there hoaxing, or maybe this is new evidence that will help make us reevaluate the London Trackway.
Right.
Very cool.
Hopefully we can get some people to join us today, and maybe we can make that connection for you. That would be awesome. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see what I can do here for. Oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have my partner do a bunch of promotion for me right now. We'll just share all this stuff on Facebook and Instagram. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing with all your peeps on Facebook, Instagram, social media. Put it out there, copy, paste this link, share it out there. Let's get some people in and see what we can get together. The
Sounds
bigger
good.
let's see here. So,
Let's see.
I'm drawing a blank. It's.
Have any of you guys made it out to Cliff Barackman's new museum down there in Boring, Oregon?
I haven't.
Yeah. Been there a couple times.
Yeah. Sandy, have you made it out there yet?
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. I went by once and nobody was there. I think it was before he officially opened up, but it's on my to-do list.
Yeah, it's pretty well done. Was down there right before the whole pandemic set in, so
Right.
snuck in there last minute.
Is he open right now?
Yeah.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yep,
Cool.
he's up and running. Yeah.
Yeah. No, me and Lisa just came back from Fort Stevens up north,
Oh, okay.
and little poking around out there, and we stayed in Wheeler at the old Wheeler Hotel.
How was that?
That was it was amazing. Nobody else out there. It was pouring down rain, so we never left the car. I think we got out for maybe 15, 20 minutes each day that we were over there to walk on the beach by ourselves, which was really nice. It was peaceful. But then,
Nice.
we drove into Seaside and it looked like downtown Disney, and most of the people in that area were not wearing masks, and it was very scary. And I was like, no, just keep driving.
Yeah, so Mike
Oh,
supposedly saw
that's
a
funny.
Bigfoot there at Fort Stevens on the south end where you enter for the campgrounds. On one of the paths, they said it just bolted across the path as they were riding their bikes.
I believe it. It's real squatchy over there. Both me and my wife were like, man, you get 10 feet off the road and you disappear. And how are you going to see anything over there? It's beautiful over there. Super, super nice. But yeah, squatchy. I believe it. He's everywhere.
Right?
Uh,
Shane, do you have any good stories to share with us or encounters lately?
Not. You talking to? You say Shelly or Shane?
Shane.
Not really. It's been really quiet on all fronts. I know within friends that are still working with BFRO, it's quiet for the most part. I haven't heard of much because I haven't been able to get out to some of the places I like to go. But been working on this new possible nest find. I jumped on Bigfoot and Beyond with Cliff and Bobo, and I think that airs Monday to talk about it. 'Cause Cliff was heavily involved in it, and so and I'll be sharing some of that today during my spiel. But yeah, it's been really, really relatively quiet. But I think it's going to pick up. Everybody's starting to get back outdoors. Washington is starting to allow some camping. A lot of day use, but not a whole lot of camping. I'm fortunate because I have keys to locked timber gates, so I can get behind there and disappear. Nobody knows any otherwise. But the majority of people up here specifically can't get out. I mean, or at least can't camp. So I expect it to, get a lot more reports here down the road. Maybe a complete influx. No people out in the woods, and all of a sudden there's a ton of people in the woods. Sasquatch is going to be going, what the heck?
right?
So yeah, but relatively quiet. So I don't have a whole lot of encounters, recent ones anyways, to report back on, unfortunately.
There's been so many, like you were saying there, so many animals have sort of taken back the forest and moved back into those areas. And hopefully this will be an opportunity for us to sneak up on Bigfoot, and catch them off guard for so long.
Absolutely. Yeah. The animal thing, you're absolutely right. There's been a lot of bears encroaching even more so up on a lot of the residents up even where I'm at. I've seen a lot more deer out in the woods. Yeah. So I've seen an influx of animals getting, not being so vacant or not, being around in these areas. So that's been pretty cool. And hopefully Sasquatch is following suit.
Hopefully, Texas is hotter than Hades. The humidity and then the heat is just, it's hard. It's really hard to do any kind of research here when, it's probably gets the lowest it gets at night is around 85 degrees. And then tons of humidity. So the heat index, on a daily, just at night, was probably at least 95 degrees with no breeze. So for us to research, it's not for the faint of heart, and I'm getting to the point where I'm just not interested in being in misery. And I'm not used to the heat anymore because I think I've spent the last 5 years in the Pacific Northwest in the summer. Well, it was hot. So just working the ranch is difficult.
I don't mind the heat because I used to work out when I was in California. I worked out in the Mojave Desert, Joshua Tree National Park, Edwards Air Force Base, all around up and down there. It'd be, we wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, get to work, and it's, 85, 90 outside already, but you don't have the humidity. That's what I hate.
Yeah. Well, me too. I remember, you remember the summer that it got 107 in Washington
Oh
or
yeah.
Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon.
Okay.
Well,
We were on an expedition and with Beelar and I think it was Barb's expedition, and everybody was falling out. I was like, this ain't nothing. There ain't no humidity, y'all. Get in the shade, you know. I mean, but here you get in the shade and it's worse because you've got the foliage creating more humidity. So, and then the ticks are just massively bad right now, and the mosquitoes. And so for me, it's difficult to get out. And I don't know. I mean, the last time I went out for a week in Oklahoma, and I slept on my cot out in the open for a week. So, and that was good, but that was a month ago for doing any kind of like in-depth research. But it's just so hot.
everything's bigger in Texas.
Oh my God. Tell me about it. And then, you know, just trying to get to a location that I would think was even close to having activity is a couple hours from here. Now, there'll be other people that'll tell you we have Bigfoot, you know, in the, you know, just down the road. And that's just not true. I mean, I just can't see it. Not today. 50 years ago, yes, but not now. The Metroplex has got more people than the state of Washington has in the entire state. So I just don't see Bigfoots hanging out around us like that. But who am I?
You're Shelly, Covington, Montana.
Effing Covington.
You're expert tracker, Shelly.
No. I am a certified level 2 tracker. Expert, I will never reach in my, you know, I mean, there's only one expert, considered expert master tracker in all of the US right now. And there's a handful of them left in Africa. So I feel I have some knowledge and a lot of knowledge that I'm always learning, though, always. And but I will never be an expert, but I will always strive to be my best.
Sounds like they need another master tracker.
Do what?
They need another master tracker. You should be pursuing that.
Girl, well, I want to continue. Yeah, I want to continue. I want to go back and continue my certifications and work my way up. But I want to become a master naturalist as well. And I missed the deadline this year. I got back too late to start because you have to be approved to even be able to take the course. You have to go in front of a board. And then you go through like 6 months of in-depth courses in the fields with other master naturalists. And then you take your certification. And, you know, so I don't get to start that till next year because they only offer it in certain locations once a year. And then, but I do, I still, you know, I'm still working on my tracking. I'm every day just trying to be better, you know, and because it's difficult for me. I mean, there are other people that I'm sure would just whiz through it, but it's a learning process, and I love it so much. It's like my life. I just feel like it's the thing that God wanted me to do, you know.
Awesome.
So yeah, it gives me a lot of joy. I mean, I feel like I'm doing something worthy of conservation, you know, and those things are super important, you know, and I don't know how you would know you have Bigfoot if you're not actively knowing wildlife behavior, trying to learn it. So other than seeing him.
You don't know Squatch.
I know I don't. You're right. I sure don't. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know these days. I don't know who knows Squatch.
Exactly.
It's with the all of the negativity in the world going on right now, which is really heartbreaking to me. It's gotten worse in a lot of different groups and hobbies. People are just kind of losing their minds, and I just don't. It's really heartbreaking. It makes me sad, but I don't know. The Bigfoot world's a crazy world. It doesn't need to be any crazier.
Nope.
Well said.
I like Bigfoot the way he is, he's cool, calm, and collected. Nothing really gets him riled, in my opinion, and we're just a bunch of crazy people.
We are crazy, I guess. I don't know about crazy, really. Like
Good crazy.
yeah, good crazy. There's a lot of people that are like, you go and you do what?
Yeah.
You spend how long out in the woods doing what?
Yeah.
Don't you find that scary? I get that question a lot. Don't you find that scary? Aren't you scared? Not really. The one time that I know for a fact that I saw Bigfoot, I was not scared. It was a time loss thing where when it happened, it was like a complete awe moment where I lost time. And then when he was gone, it was over with. But I experience the same stuff when I do paranormal investigating too, like a time loss thing where it's kind of weird, but I don't find it scary. I feed off of that stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of paranormal, and I'm not one to dive into those things because I need to keep my mind on one idea, but just to share with you, since our last dog died, we had her cremated and she's on my mantle, and I'm telling you, every day I wake up and I see her walking into the hall. And I tell my husband, I said, I swear, I just saw Bonnie walk in the hall. He goes, I see her all the time. And so he feels like she's still here in the house.
Wow.
And,
Yeah, after one of my dogs died, I swear I heard her walking on the floor with her nails on the wood floor, like the next day. It was really weird.
Yeah, I guess she's just making sure I'm okay. I don't know. That was her job. Even though she was blind as a bat, but she was always right there. I didn't know you could love animals so much. Like that much. I didn't realize how much I loved my animals till I lost my animals.
Yep, they become part of family.
That's for darn sure. They're our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I believe that our loved ones come back to reassure us that everything's going to be okay, or that they're okay. We have the last dog that we had to put down, she was pretty old and she was having seizures and we blacked out, and it was bad. But every once in a while you can hear her pug breathing. It's like, okay, we don't have a pug that breathes like that. I have a puggle, but he's more beagle than the pug, and he doesn't have the sinus problems. But it's kind of different, but it's also reassuring that she's still around and she loves us. And
that's good. Yeah, it's been hard. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be on me, but it is what it is. We usually outlive our animals, so.
Yeah, they're definitely a blessing in our lives. As they come and go, they teach us things and leave us with fond memories. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Got a little misty-eyed.
I know. That's what I'm just on the cry. It's crazy. And Cindy's dog Hannah has her own TikTok channel, and I love watching
What?
her. 'Cause she
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, she's a weirdo. She hops up and down like constantly. So she actually has arthritis in her shoulders, the worst the vet had ever seen, because she literally hops up and down probably 500 times a day, and that might be conservative. So yeah, it's Hannah the hopping lab. If you go to TikTok, I mean, I'm sure pretty much just little kids follow me. And Shelly,
I follow you. I love
but
TikTok.
it's a
TikTok
good.
is my jam. One day I'm gonna do a TikTok channel, but right now, you know, but I love TikTok because the majority of things that show up on my TikTok, you know, what's it called, page thing, feed, it's just people that are normal folk like us doing silly stuff, and it's just funny. And then there are some really cool, interesting, you know, they're 1 minute long or shorter. I follow a guy that's a not a mortician, but he's a forensic scientist who talks about body parts, and he shows you, you know, the human heart, and he works with cadavers. That's what it is. And then there's, you know, cattle people like us who talk about their cows and different diseases and different things you do with cows. And there's horse people and dog people, and then there's silly stuff. And it's not, there's a little political stuff on there, but you know, I just swipe through that. And you know, it gives me joy because it's just, I don't know, it's just different. It's not like Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. They're all either for famous people, beautiful people, or really hateful people. You know, it's just misery. And so I love TikTok. Maybe one day I'll do a tracking TikTok.
There you go.
You know, like my little tracking questionnaires I do on my Facebook.
You could call it "Take a Walk with TikTok" or "Take."
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one, Shane.
Yeah. Or I could do Bigfoot or Big Knot and do what isn't Bigfoot.
There you go.
Boom.
This is a bear track. This is where a brick once laid and the bear moved it away, you know, or whatever. I don't know. But I get entertained easily by that app. And I like it. But yeah, Hannah's so cute. I just love her. She's one of my favorite dogs.
Yeah, I mean, she's getting up there. She's like 13 and she's a lab, so she's pretty much on her last leg. So I figure this is a great way to record, you know, her. And she's happy all the time, you know. I think she has cancer, but she doesn't care. She's just happy. So
yeah, that was how my dogs were happy. They were, well, you know, they were rescues, but their lives with us were good, and they were, you know, they were spoiled, but not too spoiled, but they were grateful that we had them. That's what I loved about my dogs. You could tell that they were very grateful that they had us to take care of them, and all they had to do is sleep and eat and poop, and that's all they, you know, that's
What a
it.
life.
They didn't even play. They just slept and ate and pooped. That's it. They didn't bark. Well, Bruno used to, but they were cool dogs.
yeah.
Anyway, so my new kick is V8 juice. Yes, drink it every day. It's good for you. I get my vitamins.
Right.
And
remember those old commercials of V8 where the guy was walking like at a 45-degree angle, and then he V8.
Oh,
like,
they drink it, yeah. Did they used to hit each other upside the head too with the bottle or something?
Oh yeah.
Could have had a V8 or something. Yeah.
Good morning, Ron. Welcome.
Morning.
Oh, Ron's on. There he is.
We do. He's chiming in on us.
All right. Hey,
Yeah, you just walk from there and walk behind me.
I got to
Where's-
drop off for a little while. Is that going to be okay?
That is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, who am I looking at here?
Hey,
Uh,
Ron.
I'm your host today. My name is not Andrew. My name is Nick. I am half of Jefferson State Paranormal. I'll be your MC host today. I'll be introducing you folks. as
Hey,
you
Nick,
go on.
good to see you. Can you
Uh,
hear me?
I can hear you
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah,
Everybody's,
I can see myself there. I look alive.
yeah. You are streaming live on YouTube, so no cursing. That's my rule for me.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. So this is sort of a check for me. I got things I still have to do, so I can just come back at the appropriate time. And I presume our time is 2:30, right? Because we're in Mountain Time.
Yes, that's right. It'll be 1:30 my time, 2:30 your time.
Where's Andrew?
He is down manning the smoker right now.
You're just smoking.
He's cooking.
He
Who else is here?
Sounds good.
We got Shelly Covington. We
Hi, Ron.
Hi,
we got
Shelley.
Jason Wells with us.
Good to see you.
Shane Corson was just with us, and he'll be back later on this afternoon. Scott Villette will be joining us this afternoon.
Ron Moorhead, where is he?
Ron, I
He's
sent
in-
you a message
He's
this
in
morning.
the Olympic Peninsula of Washington.
Well, I
Oh.
know where he lives. I'm asking where he was saying that he's assuming his time is still the same, and I didn't know if he was going to join us on the pre-show.
on the pre-show. I was
Yeah.
looking, and it was really kind of just whoever could join us at the time. Depending on what was going on and stuff.
Yeah,
it was-
my co-producer will be joining us. We have a PowerPoint
okay.
that you guys can use. I take it.
Yes, down at the bottom of your screen there, it says share screen, and you
Yeah.
can click on that and share
Uh,
everything that you have.
he has the PowerPoint, so he's
Yep.
experienced at Zoom stuff. So you're the Zoom master, huh?
We're all learning.
Is.
Not really. No. It's crash course today. Really learning how to put it all together. I have worked out some kinks to where I should be able to manage quite well with muting audio from certain people and allowing everybody to do their own presentation and sharing what they have to share and stuff. The other thing is more of it's a relaxed time schedule today too. So if you don't worry if you guys are going to go over a little bit or come up short. We'll figure it out, and we're doing the best we can.
So are you a Bigfooter too? I see by your hat you probably are.
I have done some squatching. I got a pretty nice squatchy call that's produced wood knocks for me and
Okay.
people that I was with. I've actually had a couple experiences with seeing what I truly believe as Bigfoot.
Yes.
I'm a paranormal investigator though, really.
Yeah, well, we're kind of turning into paranormal investigators. Alan himself got started in that domain. So, the idea of the movie is to bring them together. My theory on wood knocks is that it's a vocalization, not a Bigfoot whacking another tree, that they can produce that sound easily.
Exactly. It is vocalization and stuff. It's not like, your buddy hollering from across the holler, I spot,
Yeah,
deer.
we came across the Native American in making the film who could do perfect wood knocks with his mouth. Blew me away. Good as anything you could hear from a distance.
Right. We might hear some
I got some pretty good stuff, but you
Yeah.
can tell the difference between the two of the mouth pop and what I consider were wood knocks. But I saw the birds fly out of the tree too, so I don't know. I don't know what
So is
can
anybody
all-
watching this, or are we just chatting amongst ourselves?
right now we are chatting amongst ourselves. You know, it's good trial run. You know,
I'm gonna run for a sec.
we're gonna be live all day long. So
Should I just leave this up and then walk away and come back to it, or?
you can totally do that, and I can mute your channel from here. And yeah, if you guys want to take a break, Cindy, you're up at. I got you here at 10:30.
Right.
If you want to take a quick break and pull away, I think I want to do the same thing.
So
Okay.
I'm just gonna go do some stuff. I'm doing some writing and I'll probably just pop in.
Okay.
Can
Sounds
you
good.
tell you can tell when I'm back, right?
Yep.
Visually.
And yep, I can see you pop in front of your computer there, and you know, if for some reason your video goes bad and you still have a screen, you can type in onto the chat.
Just start over again, I presume. Log in again, right?
You shouldn't have to log in. If you leave it open and stuff, it'll just
Oh,
stay there.
I mean, if it goes to hell, I can log in again.
Yeah, yeah. You just use the same code and everything that I sent this morning. And
Okay. All right,
link
man.
that email.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Do you have any idea how many people are screening?
Hopefully we get more than just us.
So I looked at the YouTube file that was put up
Mhm.
for the movie this morning, and 26 people had watched it.
I was
At
one
least
of
logged in. Huh?
I was one of those 26.
Oh, okay. So you've seen it.
I have. I watched it.
Did it freak you out, or are you okay with it?
I'm good. After so many years of paranormal investigating and
Yeah,
seeing.
you're
now-
not surprising, huh?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I've seen things from unexplained lights in the sky to
Okay.
that was
All right.
one hairy beast of a palm that I saw, and he went straight up a hill that we were struggling.
Should have interviewed you.
Well, I'm here all day.
So where do you live?
I live just outside of Grants Pass in Murphy, Oregon, in the Great Applegate Valley.
Okay. Kind of by Medford, Ashland area, sort of.
Kind of like
Right.
that, yeah. We're out in the farm country for sure.
Yeah. So you know Tobin and Daryl, I take it.
I
They
met
were-
Toad last year.
Yeah, we
And-
profiled their Owl Moon Lab, as you probably saw in the movie, and they were
Mhm.
going to speak, but Tob had a commitment. I think you may have known that. And Daryl, he's kind of a shy person. I couldn't see him doing this by himself.
I'm a shy person. What are you talking about?
No, you're not.
I used to be. I don't know what happened. The light switch came on, I guess.
Well, you had too many experiences. That's what happens.
Well,
Changes,
yeah. Me and my wife talk about it all the time, and I just have to reflect on the fact that maybe I've desensitized myself to a lot of what should actually spook me or open my eyes a little bit more and be like, whoa, what's going on? But I'm really like, you got something
Yeah.
for me?
You're open to psi phenomena for sure, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad it's working, sort of.
Yeah. That's
This
awesome.
is this being recorded in any way?
It is being recorded live on YouTube, so we should be able to go back to the YouTube link and be able to share that. We should also be able to maybe download this too. I'm pretty sure that I'm recording on this MacBook right now too. So.
Okay, cool. So it could get broader use beyond just today.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, man. Well, I
That's-
guess I will not be able to swear then.
Yeah. No swearing.
All right. All right. Take care.
All right, Ron.
So
If I accidentally swear, it won't be. I promise I will keep on my toes. But sometimes it's
Well, if it's
Slip
coming
out.
out, maybe you can go.
yeah. Well, I don't. I get talking and then, but I try not to. I'm better at it now. That I try to think of myself as sitting in church. Make sure
Right.
So
maybe
But I've
talking
been
to your
known
boss.
to have a slip here and there.
Right. I have probably the worst pirate mouth.
Oh, I have a potty mouth for sure. I mean, I speak fluent, cursing, but
Fluent trucker.
unfortunately, but you know what? I never, ever, ever, ever use those words towards an individual. You know what I mean? Like, would never call somebody a name or curse at someone. I don't know. My kids think it's funny because I make up curse words and but I've never, like called anybody the B word or even my husband. I'll be married 34 years Tuesday.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
thanks. And we've never cussed each other, so, but I have a filthy mouth, sailor mouth, potty mouth. But it's just a form of expression for me at times, but I know when to not use it. But if it happens, please forgive me. I promise I will keep on my toes. So.
All right. I'm sure there will be some allowance forgiveness. I think that's why YouTube giving us a 20, 30-second delay. Like just in case they might.
Makes sense.
Beep, beep.
Mm-hmm.
Your audio has been cut. This part of the video you cannot listen to.
You have to put a mask on us every time and bleep it out and then put a Corona mask.
Right.
You know how they'll put a thing on your face when you say a bad word in videos? Make it a Corona mask.
Oh, that's funny. All right, folks, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to step outside and get some fresh air.
Second, could you tell me what the schedule is? I'm kind of new to the
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I got at by time 10:30 Cindy, and then Shelly goes on after her.
What time do I go on? 12:30?
It'll be my time 11:30.
Okay.
An hour after me.
An hour after
Okay.
Cindy, and then I want to. I'm gonna have to look at something real quick because I've got maybe that was the change up. Jason, are you supposed to be taking?
Like at 12:30, he could cover Toby and Daryl's spot. At
Toby's?
12:30. Toby and Daryl were supposed to be at 12:30.
As far as do you know if you were supposed to take? If that's the case, 12:30 my time.
Okay.
Oh, I've got an unstable internet connection.
That makes the most sense. I'm looking at the schedule. Yeah, that's where Jason should go. 12:30.
That's what I'm thinking too, because I left it blank because I didn't get the full memo this morning or last night.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're doing good. So I'm gonna say yes, 12:30 my time, your time, and then we're gonna move right through this today, and I'm really excited.
Yay.
All right. I hope I can talk for an hour.
Right.
If you can, I can. So I can talk for like 10 hours about Bigfoot. So, but I've gotten pretty good at keeping myself in my time frame because I think it's rude to overlap other people's time. Because when you're trying to be on a schedule, I've had people overlap my time by 15 minutes. And so they cut off my time by 15 minutes.
Right.
So I would never do that to anybody else. So I've gotten pretty good at it. But
So-
Jason, Nick, I was gonna say, I do have a clock, but I was gonna say if I get going and it seems like I'm getting close to, the end is gonna be those 2 audio recordings that I played for you last night. So make sure if I'm going too long, I have at least 3 or 4 minutes to play those. Well, I guess we have 15 minutes of chat time after we talk.
Yeah. So Jason, you'll be 45 minutes and 15 minutes of questions.
Okay. Well,
And-
Shelley, if you go long into mine, my presentation is probably under 30 minutes.
okay. I just get going and I get so excited and I want people to feel excited and I want to engage in my audience and I want them to want to hear about what I want to share with them because I want them to help me. You know what I mean? So I just get you. Well, Cindy's seen me talk. So is Nick. I just talk and talk. But and you know, it's funny because I hate this. Is my biggest fear in the world is speaking in front of people.
I'll be right back.
Most
Go
common.
ahead. Go do your thing.
I'll be right back.
So how you been, girl?
Ah, good. How about you? Sorry, I'm like copying and pasting some speaker notes because I don't want to show my speaker notes when I'm doing my presentation. So,
Yeah,
I
I hear you.
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
gonna
could
try
show
to
my
wing it.
speaker notes, but that's just, yeah.
Well, I bet it's nice to have your son there.
Yeah, he's
Good excuse to have him come home.
right. He's in the other room, so, yeah, it is nice to have him home. So, oh
I
boy,
keep forgetting that this is all being recorded.
right? I'm just looking at some of my speaker notes. Oh my gosh, there is a lot of there's a lot of them. I'm just probably gonna have to wing it. Oh well. So
You be good.
yeah, it's okay. I haven't done this presentation for a few years, so yeah. You can't see what I'm doing, right? I'm like, I
No,
can't. Okay. You just see me moving around on the computer.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just see your face.
Yep, I'm doing some stuff here. Okay. Gonna have to print some stuff out pretty soon. I was supposed to go on in 5 minutes, though. I didn't expect for us to keep talking and stuff. I was gonna be working on this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I should have done it yesterday, and I did some of it yesterday, but it just got late. So,
Yeah, I was panicking last night a little bit because I needed, a walkthrough just to make sure I knew what I was doing. And
right,
once
it is
we did
kind of
that,
scary.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
none of us
I'm
are
not.
experts.
Well, I don't, have a job I report to right now, so I don't have any need for Zooming.
Right.
Most of the work world or kids in school or,
Right.
whatever. I was gonna hang up my banner, but it would take I'd have to put holes in the wall or something, so I just hung up my little funny Bigfoot guy here, but he'll
There you
probably
go.
fall. He's got a glare on him, but oh well. And then I'm hating this. I don't know if I can. I'd rather it be like that, but let's see. Maybe that's a little better.
I can't see you. Sorry, Shelley. I'm cutting and
No, you're
pasting
fine.
notes.
I'm just adjusting my iPad because you're seeing up my nose and I don't have a stand for it. So I'm having to create one. Looking at my notes. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna go take a tiny break before you start.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, Cindy,
Yeah,
who was that Ron guy? He looks familiar.
Ron Myers. I don't know much about him, but I think he's doing a movie and a researcher. So, yeah.
Okay.
Wait, now I can't. I just lost the whole screen. All I can see is Jason, you and my notes, and I just lost the Zoom screen.
Uh-oh.
What is going on? Oh, there you're back. Okay. Still a learning process. Yeah, thanks for doing this on. Oh, what was that?
I said I made a change to my presentation this morning.
Oh,
That
good.
after going over it, no, it's like not good. I was like, oh shoot, I wish I could keep this in here. But I had the point about Bigfoot's legs being different than ours. And I
Okay.
didn't have enough supporting information for it because I kind of felt they're kind of a little more long-waisted and lower hips, but
Right.
I just don't have enough to stand up to the world and say,
Right.
yeah, that's for sure. So I kept it in there, but made changes to make it more of a discussion around.
There you go.
We're into that point.
No, that's a great idea. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I guess I'm supposed to start in a minute here.
Oh yeah, you are. John Chance and I were talking about another presentation to do on site etiquette. Like, don't bring plastics into your site for research.
Uh-huh.
Things that are biodegradable, like glass
Right.
or metal. Walk in the same way you walk in every time, so you're not trampling other evidence or other places. And
Right.
and he had some other ideas too.
Nice.
He was going to talk about that if I do a Zoom Bend to Bigfoot meeting.
Uh-huh. Awesome.
Yeah.
We are ready. So if we have people on Facebook or on YouTube now. Right now, I'd like to switch over into our full State of Bigfoot transition here. I'm going to introduce my first speaker of the day, Cindy Cadell. Wonderful lady. She's a photographer. She's also a Bigfoot research enthusiast and research group leader. Has a lot of wonderful things to say. So Cindy, thank you for joining us today.
Great, thank you.
During our pandemic time of social distancing. Bear with us. We're all learning how to use the Zoom process today. And I'm going to turn this all over to Cindy and let her do her thing. Just like this. And, oh, don't mute me. So Cindy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The floor is all yours, sweetheart.
All right. All I'm seeing is you, Nick, and then little boxes of everybody else. Is that how it's supposed to be? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Were you muted?
I did. I muted myself and I was like, wait a minute, unmute quick.
No worries. No worries. Just thumbs up works too. So my name, Nick introduced me, but my name's Cindy Cadell. I'm a Bigfoot researcher. I have a bachelor's of science in anthropology and sociology and a associate's in psychology. I worked for years as a professional photographer and did well with that. But when digital hit, my sales went down every year. And so that's when I went back to school. I've worked in archaeology and currently working as a substitute teacher, if you want to call it working when you're on unemployment. But so, I mean, I have a little bit of research under my belt as far as Sasquatch goes. Haven't seen one, saw something really weird once, but I'm not going to commit to it. Just have always had an interest in Bigfoot, and I'm part of the Olympic Project. Shane's going to be talking about the Olympic Project later. I'm part of a little Bend group we have going, and then also the Tillamook Forest group and the BFRO, which I do expeditions for them sometimes. So it's just always been kind of an interest for me, and I think my degree with anthropology really reflects that interest. So I'm going to do a presentation that I did years ago. It's when I was in college. I started out as a psych major. My senior year, I switched to anthropology because my first chapter in my anthropology book discussed Gigantopithecus. And I mean, there's a lot of hypothesis that Bigfoot is on that line, although I think Jason Wells is going to be talking later. I think people are moving away from it being Gigantopithecus. So some of my notes might reflect that, but it doesn't mean that that's where I think if Bigfoot exists that it came from. I believe it's a great ape, but until we have a body, we don't know. We can say anything we want. I mean, everybody's opinion is valuable, whether you believe it's an ape or paranormal or whatever, because we don't have any proof yet. So try not to judge people for what they believe. So here we go. I think I need to do share screen. And these are just like my college notes. In psychology and anthropology, sorry, you know what, I need to get out of this just a second. Please forgive me, you guys. This is, you know what, I think that I was going to do a full screen, but I think it's kind of an issue with me trying to see all the Zoom options too. So I'm probably just going to share, and you'll see my speaker notes. I'm really sorry, you guys. That's not what my plan was. Okay. I didn't want to show my speaker notes, but ignore the speaker notes. Maybe I can minimize those a little bit. Okay, we're all learning, no judging. Okay, so my presentation is called The Sasquatch Human Connection. Like I said, it's college notes from an anthropology major, myself. All through college, I took all kinds of notes: psychology, anthropology, sociology, anything that I thought might be related to Bigfoot that we had real data on. I wrote down notes, and there's a lot of notes, and this is just part of them, but I'm not an expert, and I don't really believe there is any experts in the Sasquatch world. I mean, we don't even have, it's not like we're out in the woods like Jane Goodall ain't it, and studying Bigfoot. We're trying to get to that point, but we haven't got there yet. So not an expert. I'm just going to share with you some of the stuff that I know. So first of all, what is anthropology? Anthropology is the study of humans, the past and the present. There's 4 major areas of anthropology. There is, well, there you go, $6 Million Man, for anybody who remembers that. Linguistics. So linguistics in anthropology is the study of human speech and language, also the origins of language. When I took this class, I was like, this is gonna be really boring, but actually it was one of my favorite classes in college. There's archaeology, which is the study of earlier cultures focused on recovery and analysis of material remains. So that's what I was doing with the Bureau of Land Management, and it was my most favorite job ever. So, but it was in Burns, which is living in Bend and working in Burns was not, it wasn't really easy. So hopefully I'll get back into that someday. Another aspect of anthropology is cultural anthropology, and it's the study and beliefs of behaviors found in modern and historical cultures. Like right there's the Raiders. Nobody understands that. It's the Raider fans understand that, but if you had never seen that before, it'd probably be pretty scary. So right there's an example of culture. There's physical anthropology, and that's the study of human biology within the framework of evolution. A subfield is paleoanthropology and primate anthropology. I had some notes here I was going to cover. So basically, simply stated, it's just physical anthropology is a study of human biology via evolution. So what do we know that's an obvious connection between Sasquatch and humans? Should we say obvious? I don't know. I think it's obvious. I think that Sasquatch would be a primate, bipedal because of all the witnesses we have. Similar body type to humans, legs, arms, torso, and some of the same behaviors. So right here, like when if I was there in person, I would have bananas, and if somebody answered this correctly, I would give them a banana. But so it's a banana alert. So I want everybody to look at this. What do you think's wrong with this image? It says down below, a monkey scratching his head. As you can see, that's an orang, and they are considered great apes. So not a monkey, and that apes and monkeys get misidentified all the time. So we're going to talk about what is the difference between monkeys and ape. Right there is Jane Goodall and a guy named Roger Fouts, who did sign language with chimpanzees. So that was pretty interesting and pretty groundbreaking when he was doing that. So let's start with what is similar with primates. There's 330 species of living primates when I wrote this. Could have changed since then. Forward-facing eyes, this helps with depth perception. Very flexible arms, legs, and fingers. This is an adaptation from living in trees. High parental investment at birth because they're pretty much helpless, all primates. They live in some sort of social environment. Long life expectancies, 10 to 20 or 10 to 45 years. And there's been orangs that have lived in captivity for about 60 years, and obviously humans can live over 100 years. High adaptation, they do this to survive. They adjust and survive. So what makes an ape? Apes are usually larger and heavier than monkeys. Apes have no tails. Sasquatch has no tail, so I'm saying ape. Apes have a more upright body posture than monkeys and are often able to walk on two legs. Bonobos are very good at this. Apes have a broader chest. Apes rely on vision rather than smell, and so they have shorter noses than some monkeys. Apes have a larger brain to body ratio compared to other animals. Apes live in Africa and Asia, and then of course, if there is Sasquatch, they would live in North America. Apes are also tool makers, users of language, complex social beings, and the great apes include chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, humans, and bonobos. Another banana alert. Like I said, if I was in person, you'd get a banana if you could get this right. Can you name one other ape that I did not list? It's the gibbon, who is considered a lesser ape and not as advanced. They live in pairs for life and are not as social as other apes. They're often mistaken for monkeys. And let's see. So I'm going to try to play this clip for you. It's a gibbon making a call, and there's essence in there that sounds similar to what people think a Sasquatch call is. So I'm going to try to play that for you if I can. Let's see. Oh boy. Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out. Please forgive me, you guys. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to play it. I'm going to go back to my presentation now. So I can't see any comments, so I don't know if anybody's commenting. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. If not, can somebody text me, tell me there's a problem. So anyway, there's some essence of their vocalizations that sound similar to what people are saying a Sasquatch sounds like. So I thought that that was kind of interesting to share. So what makes a monkey? Monkeys come in two groups: Old World, Africa and Asia, and the New World, Central and South America. And they're saying that the New World drifted over on debris from the Old World and have evolved over here in the New World. Let's see. I think that's all I wanted to say about that one. So Old World monkeys, they're larger than the New World monkeys. They're awake during the day. They have narrow and downward facing nostrils. They have longer hind legs and arms, or than their arms, I'm sorry. They have flat nails. Tails are adapted for grabbing or holding, and their buttocks pads. They have buttocks pads, and I know you've all seen those on National Geographic. New World monkeys, they come in all sizes. They have wide circular noses and they're spaced apart. They have long tails that are often used for grasping and holding, and no buttocks pads. So right here, there are more primates, the prosimians. They're often called the pre-monkeys. It means before monkeys, and they live in the Old World. They have great sense of smell, large snouts, some claws, and nocturnal because of competition with other mammals. Their upper lip does not move, and they have independent movable ears. This includes the loris, the bush babies, tarsiers. I've heard that pronounced so many different ways, so I hope I pronounced that correctly. Some people say tarsiers, either or, and then lemurs. Here's another video I'd like to have you guys watch, and I think I have it pulled up. Okay, I don't have it pulled up. Or do I? There it is. Okay. Please bear with me, you guys. Okay, so just to recap this right here. So they often would say, well, there's no way a Sasquatch could live in a cold environment. I'm going to show you a video that says, yes, you know, primates can live in cold environments.
But the people didn't want to share their baths.
We're going to start over here.
For a long time, the Japanese people have enjoyed bathing in these hot springs in the mountains. But they were being watched, and soon the monkeys that live here decided to join them. But the people didn't want to share their baths, even with their relatives. So they decided to build another pool further up the valley, just for the monkeys. Monkeys that discovered the joys of a hot bath were a couple of youngsters way back in the 1960s. And not surprisingly, the others thought it was a great idea. Now several troops share this hot spring, and it's turned into a kind of monkey health spa. I know how they feel. The heat is very relaxing. For those who do manage to stay awake, the pool is also a social hotspot, where determined fingers complete the cleansing and relaxation treatment. The hot water may be lovely, but at a certain point, they've got to get out. And they do look very cold and bedraggled when they do. But fortunately, they've got this thick undercoat, which never actually gets wet. And even that outside fur dries remarkably fast. Just like after any hot bath, they must glow with warmth for hours afterwards. Once these snowsuits are fluffy again, the youngsters are ready to play some rather familiar winter games. Fleece, it's really cold out here. And as with all youngsters, they just can't keep out of the pool for long. To thrive no matter where they find themselves, and they've certainly made the most of having us as neighbours.
So yeah, so those monkeys that shows cultural learning. They learned that from a couple of the Japanese macaques that had dropped into the warm water, and then they all started doing the same thing. And then also they think during the ice ages that they also were digging up rocks and finding larvae, and that was something that they shared with each other and learned from each other. So that shows cultural learning. So the snow monkeys live in northern Japan. It's one of the highest average snowfalls in the world. They live the furthest north of any primate other than man. They live in temperatures below 5 degrees. They're very social, and they can expect to live 30 years. They raise their young together, and infants inherit the social rank of their mother. So here's another banana alert. Like I said, if I was there, I'd give you a banana if you could get this. Is Sasquatch an ape or a monkey, and why? Well, the apes are usually larger and heavier than monkeys. Obviously, if Sasquatch exists, they are larger and heavier. They have no tail. Apes have no tail. Apes have a more upright posture than monkeys, and often able to walk on 2 legs. Apes have a broad chest. Apes rely on vision rather than smell, and thus have shorter noses than some monkeys. Apes have a large brain to body ratio compared to other animals, and apes live in Africa and Asia. And if Sasquatches exist, they live in North America. So we're going to talk about Sasquatch. I think that we need to also talk about Darwinism. So Darwinism is the theory of evolution proposed by Charles Darwin. Natural selection is a vehicle in which species change and evolve. So I think I'm going to cover some of that right now. One thing that I thought was really interesting is that Darwin has 6 universal emotions, and he believed that all animals have emotions. And these 6 universal emotions are anger, happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, surprise. So we can assume that Sasquatch would have these same exact emotions. I think I was going to say something about that there. Oh no, it was going to be a different slide. Sorry. Darwin pointed out that facial expressions are important in reading emotions. So they say that chimpanzees are excellent at doing that. They can read emotions very, very well. If you're afraid of them, they'll pick up on it right away. I think with humans, we've kind of gone away from that in some respects. Like, for instance, maybe a female is walking down the street and she sees someone coming towards her, and there's something about that person that makes her fearful. But society says, don't cross the street and get out of there, it would be rude. And then there's been cases where women have been raped, even though their mind was telling them you're in danger, you need to get out of here. And there's something that they picked up on, but society is saying, ignore that. Everybody's, don't, judge people. But there's been instances where the women did not follow their intuition and were in trouble. So I think that they probably picked up on some kind of facial expression. So I think that that's important. Darwin also said that the pursuit of enjoyment is a primary emotion in all our lives. And this is animals, all animals are included. I mean, look at your dog. You can see all kinds of emotions through your dog: joy, anger, boredom, pretty much everything. Also, when chimps give birth, friends of that chimp hug each other. And humans do that too. So there's a lot of things that non-human primates do that we do. My favorite facts about Darwin is Darwin did not use the word evolution for decades because of the conflict with religion. He used the word transmutation. And he also pondered things like, why do penguins not fly? He thought man was a mammal and not a deity. He married his cousin Emma, who was a strong Christian. He fathered 9 children. And on November 1859, he released the Origins of Species. And another banana alert, Alfred Wallace. Did anybody know who he was? He was actually on the same exact path at the same exact time as Darwin. And he came up with this theory of evolution and approached Darwin, who was well known in England, and said, hey, I think this is what's going on. I think there's some kind of evolution going on. And Darwin was really upset. He's like, wait, I was gonna tell people this. And so they ended up releasing the paper together. And of course, Darwin was the first name on the paper, but it was a really big deal when that came out. Alfred Wallace was from like a poor family, and he would go around the world and collect different species. And that's how he would put it together. He would collect like butterflies, birds. And back then in the 1800s, it was like kind of a big deal for people to have these collections of birds and butterflies. And so that's what Alfred was doing. That's how he made his money, and that's how he put it all together. But Darwin came from a very wealthy family, and people, held him to a higher standard. And so that's why his name got put on the paper first. This is kind of an older slide, but so what can Darwin tell us about Sasquatch? Well, species change over time. We share common ancestors. Evolution is slow. There's variations in population. Traits are passed to the offspring. Individuals with well-suited traits will contribute more offspring to the next generation. So I would say that Sasquatch is the top of his evolutionary line, passing on the best traits to their offspring. So possible evolutionary traits in Sasquatch would be nocturnal. There's a lot of sightings at night. Large bodies to conserve heat, fast, bipedal, vocal, and intelligent. All of these would lend well if you were a Sasquatch. So this is something I wanted to cover. Does anyone recognize these little embryos? Here we go. These embryos are evolving differently. They start out pretty much the same, but then they start to evolve. So here's the big reveal. Once again, everybody looks the same up here for the most part. Right here is the fish, the salamander, tortoise, chick, the hog, a calf, rabbit, and then human. I mean, look at this. The human up here and the fish looks pretty similar. So what I'm trying to get at here is that if we all evolve pretty much from the same type of embryo, we're probably going to have some of those same traits. So just something to think about. And I'm going through this kind of fast, you guys. This presentation usually is probably a couple hours long. We don't have that time. So I did want to cover culture because that is under the anthropology umbrella. So culture is learned and shared behaviors, knowledge that's transmitted from one generation to the other. An example I always try to use is when children are born, they don't know anything about Santa. That's cultural. We teach that to them. So culture, the Sasquatch have it. So I'm going to say, yeah, they do. They're born small and they're cared for by their parents, and they're taught how to hunt and how to survive. So this qualifies as culture. And let's see some other primate culture. Okay, I probably shouldn't put that one in there. So examples of primate culture indicate chimps using tools and teaching their young the same, chimps using stones to break nuts. Some groups of orangutans use sticks to extract seeds from fruit. Chimps making spears to kill bush babies hidden in trees. And all of this is passed down from others in the group. It's not knowledge that they just are born with. This was a slide I'm not going to show because we're running short on time. I did want to cover something called theory of mind. In simple terms, it means understanding someone else has information you don't have. This was once thought to be only a human trait. So it's been discovered that it's not just a human trait. And there's an experiment that they did, the theory of mind with chimps. Hopefully you can see that. There's a banana that's hidden behind a screen up here. And this is the lower ranking chimp. This is the dominant higher ranking chimp. So they're both outside this room looking in. The dominant cannot see the banana. The lower ranking chimp can see the banana. So they open it up and this guy gets the banana. Then they put a translucent barrier so both of them can see the banana. And when they open the room up for both chimps to go in, the lower ranking chimp doesn't even go try to get the banana because he knows that the higher ranking chimp could see it as well. So that's a theory of mind that I thought was pretty interesting. Compassion. There was a test done with bonobos letting a friend into a cage to share some food, but guess what? The chimps, when they had that same test done, they did not let their friend into the cage to share food. They're pretty selfish. Empathy. Chimps have empathy. So there was, I think it was Robert, I'm not, well, maybe it wasn't, I'm not sure. Anyway, there was, for instance, a baboon that was kind of picking on this other baboon, and he got beat up, and afterwards the other baboons were like, you picked that fight, we don't care. But if there's like, say, a chimp that got beat up for no reason at all the other chimps are coming in and say, hey, I'm so sorry, you know. They have some empathy for what just happened. I came up with this, the Gaston effect, and basically what it is that females like to pick partners that are strong and they can support their children. So Sasquatch is large. Maybe that has over time, females keep picking bigger mates and that's reflected in the size of the Sasquatch that are out and about living today. It's just been this chain of picking a bigger mate over time. Sometimes primates mate to gain access to resources. Some of you may remember this. This is Howard Marshall and Anna Nicole Smith. She married Howard and to gain resources, everybody thinks, because he was very wealthy. Robert Sapolsky says humans are not as unique as we think. He's down at the Stanford University, and he has some awesome studies on baboons. And I'm going to try to show that right now. Actually, you know what? I think I already have it opened up. Let's see. Here it goes. This guy's amazing. If you ever have a chance to go listen to him talk, you should.
The Kikarok troop is the one I started with 30 years ago. And they were your basic old baboon troop at the time, and which means males were aggressive and society was highly stratified. And then by now, almost 20 years ago, something horrific and scientifically very interesting happened to that troop.
The Kikarok troop took to foraging for food in the garbage dump of a popular tourist lodge. The trash included meat tainted with tuberculosis. The result was that nearly half the males in the troop died.
In that troop, if you were aggressive, and if you were not particularly socially connected, socially affiliated, you didn't spend your time grooming and hanging out, if you were that kind of male, you died.
Every alpha male was gone. The Kikarok troop had been transformed.
And what you were left with was twice as many females as males, and the males who were remaining were, just to use scientific jargon, they were good guys. They were not aggressive jerks. They were nice to the females. They were very socially affiliative. It completely transformed the atmosphere of the troop. And when new adolescent males would join the troop, they'd come in just as jerky as any adolescent males elsewhere on this planet, and it would take them about 6 months to learn, we're not like that in this troop. We don't do stuff like that. We're not that aggressive. We spend more time grooming each other. Males are calmer with each other. You do not dump on a female if you're in a bad mood. And it takes these new guys about 6 months, and they assimilate this style. And you have baboon culture, and this particular troop has a culture of very low levels of aggression and high levels of social affiliation. And they're doing that 20 years later.
I would say what we've learned from the Whitehall study, from the study of the non-human primates, is the conditions in which people live and work are absolutely vital for their health. This may sound a little fanciful, but I think what we're trying to create is a better society. The implications, both of the baboons and of the British civil servants, is how can we create a society that has the conditions that allow people to flourish. And that's where this is heading, to create a better society that promotes human flourishing.
So what do baboons teach the average person in there? Don't bite somebody because you're having a bad day. Don't displace on them in any sort of manner. Social affiliation is a remarkably powerful thing, and that's said by somebody who lives in a world where ambition and drive and type A-ness and all of that sort of thing dominates. And one of the greatest forms of sociality is giving rather than receiving, and all of those things make for a better world. Another one of the things that baboons teach us is if they're able to, in one generation, transform what are supposed to be textbook social systems sort of engraved in stone, we don't have an excuse when we say there's certain inevitabilities about human social systems.
I would say that pretty much sums up what's going on today. Let's see. I just lost. Oh, there it is. So anyway, so they're talking about culture there. let's see, this guy right here is aggression in the baboon world. He was just the bad guy. I think Robert Sapolsky maybe took this picture, but he was picking on people and just being a jerk, and so they got sick of it and they killed him. Aggression is not just a human thing. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to find my words sometimes, but in this image here, you see border patrols, human border patrols and chimp patrols, and that's what they do. The chimps will go around their borders, and if they come across another group of chimps, they could attack and try to kill them. So genocide is not just unique to humans. Here's some examples of what humans do to others. Sorry, I'm trying to go through this really fast. We're running out of time. So rock throwing has been reported in Sasquatch. So it could be active aggression. It's a way to chase others away without physical conflict. There's been a lot of Sasquatch researchers that said that rocks have been thrown into camp. So maybe they're just trying to get you to leave. And they don't want to have physical contact with you. Accurate throwing can indicate a well-developed left hemisphere of the brain. This is what I find interesting. The left part of the brain is also where we process speech. So I thought that was interesting when I was taking notes in college. Language and the vocal structure. So 6 to 4 million years ago, we started walking upright. 2 to 3 million years ago, our brains became larger. 2 million years ago, language arrived. So language is thought to have arrived at the same time as tool making. So basically what they think is bipedal equals brain growth for complex language. So if we follow this model, we can assume that if Sasquatch is real, that they are geared for language. So evidence of language in the human fossil record. Position of the hyoid bone. There's the size of the nerve canals for the tongue. Several imprints of brain patterns on the inner wall of craniums, complex stone tools, and other cultural artifacts that require teaching and learning. So all of the above that I just talked about points to language. I mentioned Roger Fouts earlier, but he did sign language with chimps, and that was groundbreaking when he did that. Some of his findings were chimps can be taught sign language. Chimps can have simple conversations through sign language. His first chimp, I've heard this pronounced a couple different ways, Washu, I think it's Washo though, was the first chimp that he worked with. And she had a baby and she actually taught the baby some sign language. Chimps read body language better than humans as well. We kind of talked about that earlier. Chimps go to the tops of trees and make calls. So possibly Sasquatch does that too. People have said that they've made calls from the top of ridges. So I thought that was kind of an interesting connection. Some interesting facts about chimps. Chimps, when using a computer to test, will redo a test to receive a better score, even if there's no prize given to them. Chimps in different locations use different types of tools. That means they have culture. Their childhood lasts about 5 years. They're emotionally dependent on their mothers for a lifetime. And humans are like that too. If they hunt together, they share their prey. And I just realized I spelled that wrong. Women are likely to mate with males who share their prey. I spelled it right there. Alpha males are 20 years old to 26 years of age. Some more facts about chimps. They don't get the concept of light and heavy. They've done lots of testing and they just do not get it. They have all the emotions that we have. They're happy, sad, they have despair and humor. And they also are in the trees and also ground dwelling creatures. Orangs stand 4 to 5 feet tall. They have a wide arm spread suited for life in the trees. They use leaves as bedding. Males are loners. They think that this might be to avoid conflict. They eat fruit, leaves, insects, and on rare occasions meat. They forage during the day. The mother-infant bond lasts for last for years, longer than any mammal except humans. They breastfeed their offspring for up until 8 years old, and then females give birth once every 8 years. So there's not much fossil record in the orangutans, well, fossil record. And so I thought that was kind of interesting too, because people are always like, well, where's the fossil record of Sasquatch? We don't have much on orangutans either. They think orangutans separated from the human line about 12 to 15 million years ago. A lot of people think that Bigfoot is a descendant of orangutans, but honestly, we don't know. We need to get some DNA that's not disputed to figure all that out. A lot of the supposed Sasquatch hair is tinted with red, so that's why a lot of people think that. Here's a couple nocturnal primates, the ii, and then also, let's see, Tazir, oh gosh, I'm so bad at saying that. Tarsier, I'm not sure. But they have cones and rods in their eyes. So the rods are responsible for vision in low light. And also the cones are active in higher light levels and capable of color vision, and are responsible for spatial, being able to see. I'm not finding the words right now, I'm so sorry. So anyway, we have rods and cones that help us to see. Let's see, we talked about tree knocks, and some people think that maybe it's their vocalization. So what would be the purpose of wood knocks? Could it be they're trying to tell someone they're in the area? We really don't know exactly. Are they calling as a mating call? We don't know. So how many babies would a Sasquatch have? So general rule is however many breasts you have, divide them in half, and that's how many babies you would have. So if there's 2 nipples, they would have 1 baby. So I think that Sasquatch would probably just usually have 1 baby. Twins would be really rare. Also, a lot of researchers say that there's gift giving. With humans, gift giving is for maintaining bonds with each other. So why would a Sasquatch have a large body? Well, with the Eskimos, they have larger bodies because they're in the cold environment, and so more mass would help keep their heat in. So that works well if you're in cold environments. So if you were in a warmer environment, being tall and thin serves well to stay cooler, so that the body heat could escape. So that could be why Sasquatches are larger. So some of the differences between other primates, why are we so smart if our DNA is almost exactly the same? We share 98.9% of the same DNA with chimps. Chimp gene is more developed smell, chimps have more hair. Our brains are almost the same, so why are we so developed? The key is that we have 3 times as many neurons. So their cell division happens during the fetal development. If you took the chimp brain and let it go 3 more rounds of development, then you would have the human brain. So we have a little bit more development going on. So I'm kind of coming to the conclusion right now. So if given all of these similarities in primates, I believe that if Sasquatch is real, Sasquatch would be a primate. They are an ape like human in the great ape family. They have a social structure, they have culture, they are intelligent, more so than other apes, excluding humans. They have evolved to withstand extreme temperatures. They invent a lot of time in their youth. It's important for them to develop relationships within their group, and they have full range of emotions just like us. They would have theory of mind. They may have some sort of language. And if they do have language, they probably have different dialects. If they have language, they're probably making tools. They would have longer childhood because they have more to learn and they're more intelligent. They have one child at a time. Twins would be rare, like I said. Females most likely do most, if not all, of the raising of the children, like most primates. Females choose mates that are big, strong, and have skills to share in order to assure a healthy offspring. May be suitable or susceptible to the same kind of diseases as humans. Large brains need a ton of energy. Being a predator and eating meat is the best route for high intelligence and supporting their brain. Very developed on the left side of their brain. They would carry their young for many years or take care of them, like the orangutans and humans. Much of what they learn from their mothers. They would have rods and cones in their eyes, cones for being nocturnal. They're capable of aggression towards each other. They probably have established territories. Males may make calls to ward off others, just like the orangutans, and they would be tree climbers. And that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk about. And we just really don't know exactly what Sasquatch is. So, I mean, falling back on what we know about primates is what I have to offer. And I think I'm kind of on time. I may have gone a little bit over. I'm so sorry, Nick.
You are doing just fine. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Cindy.
You're welcome.
And truly, I really, the baboon piece was very moving, and I think all of us as human beings can learn something from this.
Right, yeah, definitely. I mean, we can change, right?
We can. We have the power inside of us to change everything we do every day, and yeah, throw away the hate and the violence. There's no need for it. We can get along just fine and
right.
Express feelings through vocalization and stop hurting each other.
Right.
Little off the subject, it's that was
well, if we were all the same, we wouldn't learn anything. We need people to challenge us.
Right.
Exactly.
True.
When people say you're wrong, I like it because then I want to know why, and learn something, so differences are great.
Right, definitely.
It's all having an open mind and open ears and
Right. I kind of floundered, I think, on the rods and cones. I'm so sorry for that. I don't know what happened, but I wanted to go back and just talk about those a little bit more because they think that Sasquatch is nocturnal and is running around at night. So rods are responsible for vision in low light. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. And if anybody wants to chime in on this, please feel free to, because I think it's kind of important. And then the cones are kind of, they're capable of color vision. That's where we can, figure out the color aspect of vision. But I thought the rods was pretty interesting because I think that Sasquatch would have more rods in their eyes than probably us because supposedly they're running around at night and having to be able to see in low lights. Did anybody have any thoughts on that? Jason, how about you? Did you study cones or rods? They're gonna pull you in.
I did not. There was a Jeopardy question the other night about which gave you the ability to see color.
Oh, really?
I'm at least glad I got it right.
Okay.
That's about my extent of that.
Right. Okay. What about Scott?
Oh, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Going back to Anthropology 101 when I was in school, that was a long time ago. No, I remember seeing something about people with brown eyes have more rods than people with blue eyes. So people with brown eyes can see better at night than people with blue eyes, just slightly, So.
Does that mean that people with blue eyes have more cones and they can dial in on color better, or?
Exactly. And yeah. And that's kind of interesting because that's a thing. My wife says I only have 8 crayons in my color box, but she's got hundreds in hers, and she's blue eyes, and I got brown eyes. So that's how that
Oh,
works.
wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, eye color is also associated with birds and when they feed. So like in the owl family, you've got golden eyed owls and then you've got dark eyed owls. And the golden eye owls, and I can't remember which is which. I want to say screech owl is one of them. But the golden lighter colored eye, they are early morning and late evening, dusk and dawn. And I know there's a word for that and I've forgotten the word, but then you've got dark
Diurnal.
eye. I'm
It's
sorry.
it's diurnal.
Yes, that's it. So I went to a raptor talk and they were talking about that. So yeah, I find that interesting though.
Cool. We're like on schedule. That's amazing.
We are on schedule. We're doing great. We actually have plenty of time. If anybody has any questions, I have a gentleman by the name of Chris Spencer who says he knows you, Cindy.
What?
Has
I don't
done
know.
some
I don't know no Chris Spencer.
on
Me either.
his chat room on YouTube right now. Let's see if Chris has any questions.
Hey, Chris. Long time no see. Miss you.
Oh, what happened here? Help me out. Sorry, I have fat fingers and I just removed myself. Yeah. No. Yes, and play. Please help me out here. Chris, if you have any questions for Cindy, want to say hi, now's your chance. We're trying to type in on the chat over here.
I'm trying to find it too.
We're working on it. Because of the lag time in the video on between us and YouTube, it's like 20-30 seconds before they actually hear the question. We have it typed in and sent. We'll see what Chris has to say. Maybe Chris has got a question for you, Cindy, or maybe anybody else is out here with us today. We got Jason Wells, Scott Villette just joined us. Ron will be back with us later on this afternoon. Alan showed of Cindy's presentation, and I would imagine Alan will be back with us shortly as well.
When are you coming up to Washington?
So Chris asks you, Cindy, when are you coming back up to Washington?
Hopefully soon. I'm going to try to go up to the Olympic project and check out some possible nesting sites within the next couple weeks. Fingers crossed. I'm going to do a survey of there to use my archaeology background to do some survey work. We'll treat it just like a Native American site and try to collect some scientific data, because that's all we can do right now. We'll just do what we can, and hopefully maybe if we collect enough data in the future, we'll get some kind of backstory on where we can go to look maybe for possible other nesting sites if that's what they are. So
you need a 3D printer.
A 3D printer, yeah.
Scan it, print out full size.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can look at the intertwinings of how it was built. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be very cool.
Only if we were all millionaires.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to fund that project if I had $1 million.
Yeah.
Where are we doing on time here? We're doing awesome. So it looks like Chris was very happy with your answer, Cindy. Bam. You're excused. Any question for Cindy before we split off and our next speaker?
Oh, I forgot. I gotta start getting that ready, I guess. My Zoom. Join.
I hope next year we can do this in person down there.
Yes.
I'm hoping so. And actually, after this one, tomorrow being Father's Day, I'll probably I have to work in the morning, so I'll probably take tomorrow afternoon off to do whatever my wife wants me to do. As Father's
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to all you gentlemen out there, ladies, and you mothers that are just, the single father themselves. But yeah, I plan setting this all up for next year big time. I would like to make it more of a Pioneer Days type thing with trips out to Golden, maybe some a couple hiking trips on the back side of the other creek behind us. The ridge line is, once you get up there, is amazing. And then that ridge line travels all the way south and north, and is probably the best highway for Sasquatch to travel on to stay away from human contact.
Nice.
It'd be kind of cool to maybe have a couple trips out that way for next year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to join and I'm having issues. So with my presentation, I don't know why.
You're up in 30 seconds, Shelley.
Thanks.
Seconds to figure it out.
Right, ready, and 5.
Thanks. Wait, let's see.
No pressure.
Right?
My goodness. Oh, meeting. I was on. Okay. No, I don't want a meeting. And we had this all figured out. Let's see. Find people chat.
Right.
No.
We did a trial run last night and worked it all out. It was super fun.
Let's see. Join. I wonder if I can do it through the email, because I keep putting in the number that I put in for here and it tells me it's not valid.
Try the email again. Hey, while you're doing that, Shelley, Scott, what's going on in your neck of the woods? Anything?
My neck of the woods changed a lot recently because of this whole COVID thing and whatnot. But actually, in October, my wife and I sold our house. We bought an RV and we became nomads. So
yay!
We are kind of going to change from Blue Mountain Bigfoot Research to Squatch America, and we're going everywhere. So
I love that. That's
yeah.
great.
Awesome.
So right now, my backyard here, we're at a campground in Millinocket, Maine.
Oh, wow.
So we're right below Mount Katahdin, Maine, which is a Bigfoot hotspot, and we're going to be here until October. So we're gonna hit this place hard.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, my wife and I, we were both teachers. So when March rolled around, we were out of a job. So, her being a choir teacher and me being a drama teacher, those went out the window. We weren't, we were doing some little basic, Zoom meeting classes with our kids, but now that school's out, they actually cut our programs. So
right, I'm substitute teaching right now, and I haven't worked since March.
Yep. Yeah. So we just said the heck with it. We're going on the road. We're taking Squatch on the road. So we're gonna what I plan on doing is actually hitting a lot of I get a lot of reports on my website from all over the United States, and I want to follow up on some of them, not necessarily to ambulance chase the reports, but to talk to people and get information And being a cultural anthropologist, I thought it was a really cool idea just to get reports from people and then use that to set up a cultural basis for Bigfoot's culture by what people have seen Bigfoot do.
Right. That's
You
great.
know? So
Yeah, that is.
so instead of so much, you know, going into the woods and you know, I'm still going to do that, look for footprints and, you know, and recordings and stuff. That really hasn't got us very far. I mean, up till now, you know, photos and audio and stuff is all can be faked. It's too easy to do, you know. So I think if we just take the stories we've got from like Native American culture, like the thousands I've got from, you know, Native Americans, because, you know, being a Native American anthropologist for 25 years, I've talked to a lot of tribes, you know, that has a lot of history.
Right.
And then start putting all that together and try to work out a culture for the Bigfoot.
Gotcha.
Could-
No, that's awesome.
Could work.
They've got to have culture, right?
Yeah, they got to. Yeah.
I think I got it. Do y'all see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
You do. We have it, Shelly.
Yay.
So are you ready? Are you ready to kick off?
Oh, anytime.
All right. Let's just move right along with this, and right now let's do this.
Bear with me.
Around.
I don't have notes in front of me. I have a few, but I'm gonna try to just wing it.
You'll be just fine. So I'm gonna mute everybody's channel while we're doing this. Up next, I would like to introduce Shelly Covington Montana. She is a second degree tracker and citizen science researcher. I will be working up a link on the YouTube stream for citizen science, and hopefully I can get this all together. And it's a great opportunity for anybody who wants to just, you know, may not have, you know, a science degree from college or anything like that, but that has a love for science and would like to just get out and do their own research. What a great way to get your foot in the door and experience outdoor and science work. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing, and I think more people should be involved in this. Shelly, thank you for all your work that you do. I'm going to hand it off to you. And
Okay. All right. Thanks. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm really humbled anytime I'm asked to speak anywhere about anything. I'm just average girl from Texas. My name is Shelly Covington, Montana. I'm out of Dallas, Texas, and a suburb. My story is just really, my presentation is called Sasquatch Meets Citizen Science. And I'm just gonna kind of take you on a journey of where I am today and how I got there and how exciting it is for me, and that anybody can do this if you know, do what I'm doing, and it benefits more than just Sasquatch research. So I've been married now 34 years come this Tuesday to my wonderful husband, Donald Covington. And anyway, throughout the years before we had children, throughout the years through our marriage and before we had children, he had told me a story of him going into Southeast Texas to meet up with a friend to hunt. And long story short, something circled his camp. He was there on his own, and he basically scared him off. He drove over the fire and left, slept at the gas station, waiting on his friend. 25 years of that story, not knowing what he was talking about. I finally figured out he was talking about Sasquatch, and I asked him, and he admitted that he didn't want anybody to think he was crazy. And so from that point on, I think that was around 2010-ish or so when I, you know, actually got an answer from him. And so anyway, I went on this journey, and I think, you know, by the time I got online and started really talking with people. I had done a lot of stuff on my own, but I didn't know anybody in the industry. Got to know Shane Corson, and Cindy Cadell and Chris Spencer and a lot of really great people, which then led me to really looking at what the community was doing and how they were going about it, and just feeding off of what I was seeing on Facebook and how it was just going everywhere, and I'm not here to disagree with anybody, like Cindy was saying, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but this is what I knew was important for me, was the factual ideas and evidence, if there was any, and I had started out by basically just putting together a wildlife DNA kit, because I figured if I had tools, I needed tools for the field. So the next thing I know, I'm part of the Olympic project, and let me move on. And like I said, I met up with Shane. This is the first year, I think, since 2014 that I have not spent my summer in the Pacific Northwest. I think the first summer was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And as of last summer, I was there for 4 months. This year, of course, I'm staying home, with the COVID stuff, and it's just the right time. My family needs me. So, but throughout that journey of spending time out there and meeting a lot of people, I just really felt like I'm not an educated woman in the sense of I have gone to college, but I don't have a science degree. But I'm always interested in the facts. That's really what I want to know, is the facts. I'm interested in discovery. I'm interested in really what is going on. And so I really wanted to dive into that field, but I didn't know how to do it in the sense of not having a degree. And I had been here in Texas for a conference a couple of years ago, and I'd started out the conference talking about wildlife DNA and collection, and about how I'm really focused more on what is not Bigfoot versus what is, because I need to know the surroundings before I can know that I'm actually finding Bigfoot evidence, in my opinion. And later that day, Dr. Meldrum came on stage, and I know I'm name dropping, but this is what really set me in the direction. He said, if you want to know what citizen science is and want to get involved, Shelley is doing that. That put me on just a straight and narrow for really diving into what does that mean? What does citizen science mean? And really what it is it's just average people working to collect scientific data within the scientific realm. We're basically mimicking science. And on my journey, I'd really just start Googling the word and looking for things that could help me, and how could I better myself as I don't like to call myself a researcher, but a enthusiast. And I'm really interested in wildlife in general, and conservation. I'm very proud to live in Texas, and I'm very adamant about helping the environment and the wildlife and anything I can here and anywhere. So for me, citizen science was perfect. I'm finding out that there are tons and tons and tons of opportunities online, and I'll give you at the end of my presentation, I have a list of websites that will help you, that will actually help you with any kind of citizen science project that you want to pursue. I personally would like to do something with red wolf and the Texas horned toad. So I can go to specific sites and they will set me up with the type of data I want to collect, how to collect it, the information I want to have others collect. I can open up the study to the world, or I can just have a certain amount of people, but there are websites out there to help us. And when I really, started getting into the word citizen science, I started really just trying to force myself to go about everything I was doing in the woods the way I thought, science in general would do it, and so that's how, plus the wildlife DNA came about, and my dad's a law enforcement officer, and one thing I wanted to make sure was my family and my friends here in Texas, because they don't talk about Bigfoot, would know that I would go about this the way that they think I should, which to me is the right way. This is my way, the way I want to get the attention of science. I'm not really interested in the attention of other Bigfooters, and no offense, but I feel like if I can get the attention of one scientist, I might be doing it right. Because those are the people, surrounding myself with those kind of people would only benefit my process and give me more ideas, teach me more. That's what I'm here for. I want to learn. And this is the way I think I should go about it, because I could go back to college and get a degree. I didn't finish college, but I want to spend time in the woods. I want to do field work. I want to help and add whatever I can and learn whatever I can. So one of the things I talk about is DNA collection. And I personally, what I have looked into throughout the last few years, and I was even trying to get a hold of universities that were doing that have wildlife DNA labs. I feel like going to human lab is all great, but why aren't we utilizing wildlife DNA labs? They have the full spectrum of what is out there in the woods. And I'm sure if they found something with a sample that someone had collected, it's going to be pennies on the dollar compared to the human DNA labs. And I would think that if they found something they could not identify through hair analysis first and then DNA, then it would be pushed on and moved on to the next person. Once, I don't specialize in that. I'm not qualified to talk about what is DNA, what isn't. I just know I personally want to collect it properly, and get it to the right people. But I do feel that wildlife DNA labs would benefit us a little better, maybe outside of the country, and cost a lot less and a lot less heartache. But I'm always telling people, video your process, treat your area like a crime scene. If you don't know how to, I put in my kits everything you could possibly use to collect any kind of DNA, and they're all medical grade. I sell them. I order in bulk from medical companies and put them together for pretty inexpensive, because they're super expensive online. But I tell people, just treat it like you were trying to collect Ebola, and you won't contaminate it. Basically, I mean, we're laymen, so just be cautious and overly cautious, and you'll be fine. And I also put in there how to store your, whatever it is you've collected, and you need to get it out to somebody ASAP. Don't sit on it. But anyway, going on to my next slide. So another thing I noticed in the community is that when people talk about unknown, the DNA or whatever came back unknown, I feel like that's a dangerous word. I don't feel unknown really means unknown amongst the majority of us. I feel it means Bigfoot. So when you're collecting, excuse me, when you're out in the wilderness and you see hair, we need to really be careful about, go ahead and collect it and try to collect it properly, but don't make assumptions. The majority of hair that we find in the wilderness is ungulate hair and bear hair, especially on broken sticks and in trees. We call them whammy trees in the tracking world, where bears they will break off the top of saplings and scratch and all that. But it's really about the scratching is really about leaving their scent, and it's usually more prominent during the mating season than any other time. So, but properly collect your DNA and get it out to whoever you need to get it out to as soon as possible. The one thing I know, and that's what this is about, is I know the more I learn, the less I know. And so for me, it's about not being complacent and self-satisfied about my own knowledge. I think a lot of people were very satisfied with what we think we know, when really there's so much more out there we need to be exploring. I mean, come on, we're all Google people, and we need to use those to our advantage, but getting out in the woods and practicing that, discipline, you have to be discipline minded. I try to be discipline minded, and trying to stick with the facts and not let my emotions or my opinions push me into a certain direction. The best thing I can take with me in the woods is a skeptic. I feel they will challenge me. I'm constantly wanting to know if I'm on the right path. And that is where my tracker certification came in. I was out in the woods. I was doing all the things I thought I should be doing, but I wasn't getting that wildlife behavior and knowledge that I desperately needed. And I think that we all need, if you're going to go about it that way. I mean, how can we know what is Bigfoot if we don't know where he lives, or who amongst he lives, and what's going on around him? And so when I was looking into the citizen science aspect of it, I came across a website called CitSci, which I'll give you that information. That's the one I was speaking about, that will help you with any citizen science work that you want to do when you're creating your own studies. But they're associated with a group called Cyber Tracker. And what Cyber Tracker is it was created in the 90s by a gentleman named Louis Leinenberg, who realized that the art of tracking was really dying because we're starting to become so modernized. But when you look at the world of conservation, what conservationists do, and so when they're collecting data, yes, they go out and they tag animals, let's say a mountain lion in a certain region, but they have to catch them first and all that. But also part of conservation and data collection is counting tracks and sign. Now, when I say a tracker, that is not the same thing as trailing. That trailing is when you're actually following an animal through the woods to find that animal without detection, or a human being. So anyway, Cyber Tracker was created in the sense that because this gentleman that was learning that tracking was a dying art was in huge need, specifically in Africa, for poaching, because they were having huge issues with that. So what he did was he created the program at an international standard so that anybody could learn to be a tracker. It didn't matter if you were educated, you could read or not, because all the trackers the master trackers in Africa can't read or write. So he needed to be able to help these people collect their data on their wildlife there, and also to help with poaching, to stop poaching. So he created a unit which you can use to download with just, with just little emojis and icons, that when they were collecting data, these bushmen could go in and collect the data without having to read or write. Well, it's so successful that he brought the program back to the States, because what we know now is that the states and the government cannot afford to hire people to track and collect data on a constant. They need people like us. They need the average Joe. And so this got me really excited because I started realizing that this was where I could benefit not only my research for what could possibly be Bigfoot, but also I was learning about conservation and how animal behavior and the morphology of animals determines their behavior. And this just opened my world. It has been the best thing I've ever done other than having my children. And I'm so excited because I think a lot of other people are like me that want to learn in that aspect, being in the woods and learning about wildlife behavior and being able to say, wow, that looks like a dog track, but it's possibly, you know, a coyote or vice versa. And so I went on this journey, and also I was realizing, you know, when you look at the screen here, you see the acorns in the tree. I have seen people misidentify that as possibly only a Bigfoot could do that because it was 7 foot up in the tree. Well, it's an acorn woodpecker that does that. It's an acorn cache that a specific bird actually does. And not everybody knows that. I mean, you have to learn that or look for it, but I've seen those mistakes made. Just like with the bowerbird here, who, when he's mating, he collects things by color and places them beautifully all around this gorgeous little hut that he's created just to attract a female, and that's bird behavior. So I was seeing a lot of that going on too, and wildlife behavior just became so interesting to me that I realized we were being tricked a lot. And the more I learned, the less I knew. You know, I mean, we see that ungulates will literally eat meat, you know, and reason being is they need the minerals that's provided or the salt. I've seen people talk about gifting and things left in trees, just like the mushroom here. That is a sign, that is something red squirrel does on a daily. They will leave them in trails, they'll leave them in trees. So those are the kind of things I wanted to learn about and make sure I was on the right path. And I think there's other people that want to learn these type of things. It's just, this information is just so interesting and it's always evolving. It was just last year that there was a researcher in Arizona that discovered and came up with the data that gray foxes are now dragging deer carcasses up into trees, and they're using those carcasses as a community attractant for some reason, or for females. But this was unknown behavior up until last year, or undocumented behavior, I would say, and it's documented now. And so I really delve into the tracking community and, you know, looked into, I want to be certified. I want to know that I'm doing this correctly. It wasn't about being right or wrong. It was about me knowing that I'm on the right path, because I'm not a young woman. I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. And I don't have that much time to be gallivanting around in the woods, you know, all summer long. I wish I could do it forever, but it just isn't going to happen like that. So one of the things that I did, you know, that I do stress a lot, and these are some bear tracks that I casted. The top print on the right is out of Morton, Washington. The one on the bottom is from my personal encounter area, and I can I cast all the time. I practice on everything, because when that great print comes along, we just never know, you know, if we're going to get it right. You're going to have only one print, most likely. And so I stress to people to constantly be practicing. And this will also help you to look at details in tracks that you don't necessarily see when you're just looking at the the impression itself. I mean, I've even practiced in gravel. This is a track of that so that I could make sure I really knew what I was doing, and so that I'm not caught off guard. But anyway, so I'm learning a lot about the behavior of wildlife and birds and insects, every kind of living entity you can think of in the woods, and humans, was on my 2-day certification. I finally got myself involved with a place that would be able to give me my certification through the Cyber Tracker program. Once I knew I was going to be able to do that, I stayed in my books and found a mentor that worked with me every day for 9 months. I knew I knew a good bit about wildlife tracks and sign, but I knew that I was going to be, once again, what I think I know. I really, the more I know, the less I really know. They literally told me, because biologists, game wardens, just everybody in the wildlife world, if they can, they'll take a certification, and everybody fails the first time. That wasn't an option. I could not fail. It was the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. It took 2 days. It was 60 questions, but it was the best thing and the most interesting thing I'd ever done. I was hoping just to get to a level 1, but I actually passed with a level 2. And it sounds grand, and it is, to me, it's very important, but at the same time, I'm just an infant in the world of wildlife behavior. And I think this is something that so many people would love and be interested in. When I'm on expedition and people ask me to speak at expeditions, oh, by the way, I'm with, as Cindy and Shane, I'm with the BFRO, I'm with the Olympic Project, I'm with the Texas Bigfoot Research Organization, but I'm primarily an independent. I spend a lot of time alone in the woods, specifically so I don't have to deal with the possibility of what I call Bigfoot hysteria. Once we hear one thing, the whole group kind of goes into this whole, it's a Bigfoot thing. So, and for me, spending time alone in the woods doing what I do makes me really careful and very focused. I get a lot more done, and I don't get scared, because I can't afford that. That's a pretty dangerous thing, to let yourself be scared. So, but the Cyber Tracker world has become so important, and just a plethora of knowledge that has really helped me out. And, I got to looking at what is citizen science, and who are the citizen scientists of the world. And, Jane Goodall, Thomas Edison, Charles Darwin, Benjamin Franklin, Leonardo da Vinci, Richard Leakey, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, those people are also citizen scientists. And so with that, I want to talk about the different websites and organizations and information that I have for you if you're interested. So the group sitsci.org is the program that is associated with Cyber Tracker. It's also the organization, the website I was telling you about, where you can help with science. You can create your own research, project with whatever you want, anything from, the stars to insects. It's all there, and they will be happy to help you. I would love to do something with the Bigfoot world, in a forum like this, so that when something does happen later date, there is some information there, and there are names there. And, so I think those are SitSci is a really, really great resource. And there's a lot more there than I could present today, but I highly recommend them. Also, I recommend that you, if you're interested in wildlife behavior and tracking, to this book here. I don't know if you can you guys see this book? It's called Mammals Track and Sign by Mark Elbrock. Mark Elbrock is a master tracker with Cyber Tracker, which is internationally recognized. This book will teach you everything, or give you example and measurements, scientific data from everything from scat, kills. It's just like, okay, so just example. So if you've got song sparrows versus house sparrows, the morphology of the foot is exactly the same. Their impressions look exactly the same. The measurements are exactly the same. The toes are exactly the same. Everything about the morphology of those two bird species, the foot is exactly the same. But the difference is the song sparrow skips and the house sparrow hops. So when you're in the field, you're actually able, when you start to learn the behaviors, you're actually going to be able to decipher which species of bird, or let's say large cat, or canids are one of my specialties, because that's probably the biggest thing that gets thrown up on YouTube or on Facebook pages is wolf, dog, coyote, mountain lion, and bobcat, canids and felids. And when you learn the Cyber Tracker way, what's so exciting is you don't just say, no, that's a dog. The way we go about it, because we don't want to do what we call a drive-by, where we just look at it and go, yeah, that's probably a dog. Because in every track line, there's always going to be an impression that will mimic another animal. So really what it's about is elimination. So when I look at a track, if you send me a track or some piece of sign, I'm going to say out loud, I see. And then I'm going to talk about symmetry. I'm going to talk about, if there's any claw marks, how far they are out, which foot they're on. I'm going to talk about how many toe pads will fit in the heel pad. I'm going to talk about gait. Gait is a huge, huge thing. Trail width. Those are all the things you will start to study and recognize, and then your mind starts to read the landscape. You are looking at the landscape in a whole different light, because you're looking at different disturbances that you thought were nothing, which actually you can look at a blade of grass and tell if a rabbit or an ungulate ate that blade of grass. So your mind starts, I kind of like to look at it like pareidolia. We have that word floating around all the time. Well, now the pareidolia has become reading the landscape. And that's super exciting to me. So Mammal Tracks and Sign by Mark Elbrock. This is his newest version. It just came out this year. These books are kind of expensive. They run around $50, but they are the Bible to track and sign. Now, his other version is this one, which I have both versions, and it's going to go through all the North American mammals, and it's fantastic. It talks about also learning about the differences. You can look at the difference between one owl pellet and the other by examining, the contents of what kind of rodent skull you're finding, because specific owls in specific regions eat specific types of rodents. So that's how in depth, and it's just so exciting to me. Another great book he's written is called Bird Tracks and Sign. And the thing about these books and track and sign is you're not really you're looking at the morphology of the animal, but you're not really going to find a whole lot about, pictures of the animals. You're going to see their sign. There's things in here that will teach you the differences of the way that the fruit has been pecked by certain species. You can tell if a skunk or a fox ate those chicken eggs by the way they cracked that egg open. Those things are exciting to me. And I think once my mind started to train that way and disciplined myself in that way, then I started to see things differently. And when something really odd starts to pop out, then it becomes even more exciting. And I think that's the way the average person like me can help benefit with their own research and feel like they're on the right path. If you want to be that guy that just wants to go out and have an experience, that's great. I mean, but that's not what I want to do. And I think there's a lot of people like me. And I also wanted to talk about the Cybertracker program and their organization. I highly recommend that you go there and read the story and how it started. Also, the cool thing is, and if you look at it this way, Cybertracker believes that, we were always taught that we were probably hunter-gatherers when we first, came to Earth, or however we got here or evolved. But Cybertracker has an idea that we were probably scavengers before we were hunter-gatherers, and we watched the wildlife, the mammals, there were, the whatever kill, and we scavenged off of their kills. Well, how do we find those predators so that we can scavenge more? We learn, track, and sign. We learn the behaviors so that we can learn to follow the most minuscule detail that of a blade of grass folding over in which direction, and all those things become important. And these are facts. These are facts that are proven. And that's just, it makes me happy, it makes me feel like I'm really starting to understand and learn. So I highly recommend you go to cybertracker.org. It's a fantastic website, and the stories, the origins of science, because they do believe that track and sign is the first science of man, which I think is exciting as well. And if you've ever watched the documentary called the Persistent Hunt, where the Bushmen are following this elk, but they're just jogging forever and ever, just a slow jog. And this is put on by Cybertracker. These gentlemen are Cybertracker certified masters. So who best to learn from but people who actually have to live this way on a daily, hunting for what they need in their food. Here are some links that I would like to share with you about citizen science via the internet and Facebook. One of the best Facebook pages you could ever go to, and I love it, it's called Animals Don't Cover Their Tracks. This is a Cybertracker group. It is run by a wonderful, and these people are like, I admire them very much. I don't get to know them like I do Bigfoot people, and I don't talk to them about Bigfoot because that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to learn. But a wonderful woman by the name of Kim Cabrera runs this Cybertracker group. And she also runs the group called bear-tracker.com. If you go in and you Google images of any kind of certain tracks, you're probably going to pull up her information. She is not considered a bear specialist, but I'm telling you, she is. She lives in California, and she is a tracking specialist. So she's about 4 levels, I believe, 3 levels above what I can do. She also has a YouTube channel called beartracker.777. Great videos. You'll see her stuff posted on my Facebook page often. There's also Cybertracker Specialist Evaluation Study Buddies. I don't know that that's open to the general public, but I'm a part of that because we're always trying to improve on our evaluations. Another fantastic app is called iTrack Pro. Now the iTrack Pro is was created by Jonah Evans, who is also a cyber tracker specialist and evaluator here in Texas. He is the head biologist for endangered species and works for the state of Texas. So that is why the state of Texas now has made Cyber Tracker a recommendation for all their game wardens and biologists. The way that had happened was when Jonah got the job here, he apparently was looking at some data that was collected on river otter, here in Texas, and realized there was something wasn't quite right about the data, and was able to go back and I believe speak to everyone and look at all the collection, that had been collected on the river otter, and found out that over 40% of the data was wrong. Misidentified tracks, misidentified sign. And so he then implemented the Cyber Tracker program into the state of Texas. And so for me, being a cyber tracker, the one most important thing that is my job is to get the word out and to share among the world and anybody who's interested in becoming a certified tracker, because your state needs you, your conservation needs you, and it can just do nothing but help, and in so many ways. And it's just the best thing ever. I can't say enough good things about it. So please give that a thought and a look. But after this, I'm going to go into a couple of videos really quick. But I always ask, why did Sasquatch cross the road? And my answer is so he could show the armadillo it can be done. And what I mean by that is that, we're quick to give credit where I don't know that it's always due, in the sense that, these things, I don't know what they are. I know they're human-like. I don't know that they're human. I don't know that they're apes. I don't know that they're anything other than an entity that, is in the realm of our wilderness and has been around for a very long time, it seems. So I always tell people, the only thing I know about Sasquatch is he does the same thing that every living entity on this earth has done. He eats, poops, mates, and dies, and probably plays and uses tools, but I don't know. So I'm all about those facts, and the internet today has just kind of made Sasquatch into something he wasn't 40 years or 50 years ago. And I'm not about that. I'm about just trying to find out the truth. And, I don't want to fill in the blanks because I don't know what to fill them in with. If I need the proof of what people are saying that these things are doing. I engage in looking into it. I'll try anything, but at the end of the day, I would never be upset with anybody that would say my encounter was not real, because it really doesn't matter. But so let's see, the time my time's up, but they told me I could play my 2 audios, and I'll do that right now. The first one is in 2015, I was in the Gifford Pinchot with some other people. I've been in the area, not in that area before, but I was meeting up with some people for an expedition for a couple of weeks. And we started getting these massive, incredible knocks. The moment we stepped out of the car, which was in the evening, coming off of a ridge line and working their way towards our camp, which is a 10-mile hike up to the ridge line. There's a lower area below our camp and a little bit higher area behind us. There's a elk meadow, a lake behind us. The nearest paved road is 10 miles away. I won't tell you exactly where it is because there are other researchers that were there long before I was that still research there out of respect for them. But it's pretty easy to find out where I was. But I'm going to play a series of knocks that happened the second night while I was sitting in the dark, making a lot of noise with another gentleman. And it was the crappiest little recorder. I couldn't even download the audio. I just held it up to my iPhone. It's a minute long, and it's a series of knocks over about 4 hours of this thing moving in, and there's another one behind us. So you'll hear loud knock and then a soft knock. Those are two different entities. Then the thing walked out. And after you hear the last, not the last knock, but you will hear a definite pop that's different at the 45-second time frame, where it goes but one time. And so I'll play that first. Okay, so that was the second night. And right after you hear the pop that, you know, at the 45-second mark. Now those, like I said, I just turned my recorder on and off and played it all on one file onto my iPhone. Those have not been enhanced by any way. It was a really crappy recorder, but it was a blue moon. It was August 1st or July 31st, 2015. So I literally, after you hear that pop, I hear there's a ton of hours of audio, but I hear crashing through the tree line, and out walks this image, and I see the silhouette as it moves from the tree line down the embankment towards the meadow, where you hear the very soft, silent knocks. That one, he never moved. It was just this one that was making the huge loud knocks was moving towards us, and that's over, I think, about a 4-hour period. But I saw him 3 times, and in my the other gentleman with me saw him as well, turned and head downhill, and he could see the light through the arm, and looked like it was gliding. And so I told him, let's not talk. Don't tell me what you saw. We'll just draw what we saw tomorrow, and our images match. The next day I called Shane Corson in, or I think it was, I carry a satellite unit, and text him in to come in. He comes in, he finds this possible impression that you're seeing here in the silica sand. So then we leave, and everything stops, it dies. The next day, nothing. Well, a couple of things happened, but it was way far off. So for me, I need it in my face, because it was in my face before, in my opinion. So we stay there for about 2 days, collecting all our data, measurements, everything we can. We leave for 6 days. There's 3 of us. We come back, and 6 days later, no one's been in our camp. We know, because the silica is so soft, we can see all the tire tracks. If they were to come in, we just see our tire tracks that have left. And we come in really late. I throw my tent on the ground. I'm not camping where I was before, per se, because I was in that tree line where it walked. So now I'm up by where I had been sitting, between another gentleman's tent, and one of the other guys had backed his car in. And so this next one, is 6 days later. And this happened at pre-dawn. This is a video that was put together with audio. It's primarily the audio, but Kirk Brandenburg did this for me. He was there, and this was what I was woken up with. So it will, let's see, make sure I got it going. It should change. Yeah, there we go.